What up, my friends? I think day's 121. Said yesterday was 120. I don't know. It might be 120 or 121, but I'm going to say it's 121. Day 121. I'll fix it later in post. But I was thinking about this whole, like I see a lot of people posting this side or that side, whataboutism, all this stuff, this cause or that cause. Now it's Gaza. Before it was Ukraine. Before that, COVID, Rittenhouse, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, like all this stuff, And like, I'm sure that a lot of the beginning stages of the causes start out, true and proper for the right reasons, possibly. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But it seems like there's some grassroots in the beginning of all these causes that, COVID's a little different, but you know what I'm saying, like BLM, MAGA, pro-life, pro-abortion, or pro-choice, whatever it's called, trans this, gay rights that. And all it is it just further separates our nation, right? Because if we're focusing on all that, so I call it this, right? Was it Sun Tzu who said, so I forget who coined it, but it was like death of 1,000 cuts, right? So America is dying a death of 1,000 causes because we can't just focus on working class and working class issues, working poor issues. It's always going to be separated. Like you'll hear, like Biden said something about garbage airline fees, and they disproportionately affect poor and black flyers, right? And it's like, well, I mean, wouldn't it? I mean, any price hike or extra charge disproportionately affects the poor. There's poor black people, there's poor white people, right? As long as we think every black person is a thief or this or that, or every white person is a racist, or every gay or trans person is a groomer, or whatever, Democrat, Republican, we're not focusing on the true issues, which is the downfall of our nation through corporations, right? And a lot of these corporations now, they're multinational, even like the big wigs like BlackRock, the things that I call CIA Inc., right? And so they're deeply invested in China, like BlackRock is deeply invested in China's surveillance state, right? You think they're not going to use their investment that they make over there and come here, or Europe? You see all this stuff, like, they're banning certain speech in certain other countries, right? On social media platforms. So what the social media platforms, because they can't say, oh, well, we're going to ban this speech in America. But what they'll do is they go, well, we're just going to uniformly apply this through all of our countries that we service, and then that way they can circumvent our freedom of speech, things like that. And meanwhile, we're focused on, like, oh, these people are just begging, or these people are stealing, or these people hate these people because these people hate them, or vice versa. And meanwhile, the same people that you're protesting against for like, freedom of Palestinians and things like that are the same people that are funding both sides of the war. They're funding... They just keep repeating the same shit, because if they can keep you afraid, and hateful, angry and afraid, oh, that's like the epitome of control, Look, I see a lot of my friends that I grew up with, that happen to be people of color and stuff, black, this or that, whatever, Asian, Hispanic, and they post a lot of stuff about, anti-racist stuff, and fine, that's all well and good, right? But if you just continue, and they're my age, right? We're middle age. I have a unique perspective on racism in a lot of ways, and a lot of people tell me to shut the fuck up about it because I'm white, right? But like, I was raised by a black man. My first 10 years of my life, my stepfather was black. I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood. I mean like 85, 90%, all my friends were black, my stepbrothers were black, that everybody I interacted with when I was a very young kid, because, the neighborhood was predominantly black. And when you're, between the ages of 4 and 13, you're basically just in that like 12 block area. You know what I'm saying? And so I experienced racism on both sides. I experienced it against myself sometimes. I mean, race would come up. I'm not saying that the kids that said certain things to try to hurt me were necessarily racist, and the same thing for white people that do it to black kids. I mean, I would spend a lot of time with my stepfather, who was black, and we would get looks, and people would say stuff because I was a little white, blonde haired, blue eyed kid with this black man, and and he was kind of hoodish, ghetto-ish, I mean, he'd wear like matching red suits and hats and shit, and he was a bit of a thief. I became a thief in my later years as well, and he was, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I seen white people be racist to him, I seen him be bigoted and racist to other white people. I mean, his best friend's name was Doug. He was a white guy, a Vietnam vet, and he was like a Tommy Chong kind of guy. And I mean, he would say some pretty racist shit to him sometimes, or prejudice shit, whatever, And I seen white kids jumping black kids because they were black, but mostly it was because you're in the wrong neighborhood, and it was very territorial when we were kids, like you really didn't go to certain neighborhoods or this or that if you were this or that. And, and Southie people like, well, they hated black people. Well, I ended up in Southie a few times with a bunch of my punk rock friends, and we got surrounded and jumped and had to be escorted out of the neighborhood by the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't like anybody. But I'm saying the more that we focus on that stuff, right? The more that we focus on the LGBT is doing this, or the Black Lives Matter does that, or MAGA said this, or Trump that, and Biden this, and Gaza and Israel, and even that, it's the elites that are keeping us against each other. It's these corporations, these multinational corporations that are mostly run, they're started in America, and still, somewhat based here, but they're run by like CIA agents, a lot of them. And then you look at everybody on the news, it's all people from the State Department telling you, the true story this time. They never told us the truth. And all of a sudden now they're telling us the truth. Come on, and to be like pro-Hamas or pro-Israel or this and that while people are just dying, it doesn't make any sense. What are diplomats paid like $1 billion an hour? Because you'll hear on the news all the time, by these people that are also paid by Raytheon and Pfizer and all this stuff, right? These teleprompter readers, they're not journalists anymore, but they'll tell us. What was I just saying? Anyway, They control the media, you know what I mean? And these defense contractors and all this stuff, and they tell us who we're supposed to hate, how we're supposed to hate them, why they hate us, and this is why we got to do this and that and the other thing, and anybody who speaks like a little bit opposing view to yours, they hate you as well. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And they're all controlled by the same people. All these news channels are all conglomerates. It's all to create manufactured opposition, manufactured consent for their wars. And meanwhile, it's just money laundering schemes to take away from us and our next generation. I don't care what kind of family you have and this and that. Just take care of your family. Take care of yourself. And it's... People are so unhealthy, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, and some of us feel so defeated. I know I have in the past, but I know the more I take care of myself and the more I look out there, I don't follow a lot of this mainstream stuff just because it's too this side or that side, or pushing this agenda or that agenda. Take care of your families, take care of each other, take care of yourself. Don't fall for every little freaking next news story. Look deeper into it. And I know that the distraction is the number one killer to us figuring out what's truly going on. And the other one is being unhealthy, and another one is looking at each other as we're enemies. Your neighbor with the Trump flag, right? Oh, he's your enemy. It doesn't make any sense, and we gotta stop this whataboutism and the sidism. I do it too, you know what I mean? I do. I like freaking political memes. I like all the crazy shit. It's fun to watch. It's fun to get involved in. But until we really focus on working class and working poor issues, we're going to keep doing the spiral. They keep feeding us the same shit. Afghanistan, now it's freaking Ukraine and Iran again, and, you know, China, and, you know, don't even get me started on that. I'll talk to you guys soon, man. Day 121. Peace.